Goeiedag! Good day, fellow South Africans and citizens of the world. And yeah, the ANC are turning the screws a bit tighter. And this information comes from one of my informants, many informants on the Loving Life channel about what is actually going on in South Africa. And this is a shout out to Jay. Okay. Now, Jay says, hi. I've decided to send this message out to all my clients currently in the financial emigration process, in case you see anything on social media or in the news. I have not made any public utterances or announcements on social media, as the developments of the last 5 days do not affect my current clients. I repeat that my current clients are not and will not be affected. Announcements were made last Wednesday afternoon by the Minister of Finance, the Honourable Minister Mr. Tito Mboweni, Honourable, in the annual budget speech in Parliament on the 26th of February. I attended one study group hosted by the SAICA, the SAIPA and the SAIT on Friday and decided to keep my mouth closed as the National Treasury have promised to release a white paper, a directive, a practice note, and an interpretation note during the next 2 to 3 weeks with the exact details of the way forward. The bottom line is this. The South African government has taken a decision to do away with financial emigration, and financial emigration ends on the 28th of February next year. The Minister of Finance did not give any reasons in his budget speech, but any knowledgeable professional in South Africa who is competent in financial emigration matters, expat tax and the state of the South African economy is and should be able to join the dots. Yeah, they're going to rob you blind. That's what they're going to do. COSATU, South Africa's biggest trade union, is part of the tripartite alliance, which constitutes the ruling African National Congress, COSATU, and the South African Communist Party. The above three organizations rule South Africa together. Yes, South Africa is a communist state, basically. Without COSATU and the SACP, the ANC will lose power. 6 months ago, COSATU came up with a radical proposal to save and salvage Eskom. As you may be aware, Eskom is on the brink of collapse. Eskom supplies South Africa and Sub-Saharan Africa with electricity. Eskom is insolvent and saddled with close to 500 billion rand in debt, of which the South African government is the sole guarantor. Eskom is commercially and financially insolvent. Electricity prices have escalated 385% in the last decade, as the economy has crashed and there is no economic growth. Demand for electricity has dropped. The majority of municipalities do not pay Eskom for electricity supplied. Eskom has 46,000 too many staff, and therefore Eskom has insufficient revenue to cover its expenses and services its debts. Now, that 46,000 figure being too many staff is actually wrong. Let me just make that very clear. Eskom has about 16,000 too many staff, but I mean it's still a huge number. If anything happens to Eskom, South Africa is finished forever. COSATU proposed that the government use the surplus in the government employees' pension fund, the retirement savings of all civil servants, to settle Eskom's debt. There was a public outcry and an uproar from all trade unions nationwide, and they threatened to burn South Africa and bring the country to a halt. It has now been leaked that the government has decided to use both the public and private retirement investments and savings of all South Africans to pay off all of Eskom's debt, while the corruption and the plundering by the ANC and their cadres goes unchallenged. It's just crazy. Before they announce this publicly, and to ensure the majority of South Africans do not flee the country with their assets and retirement savings, the government has announced the phasing out of financial emigration. Currently, with the status quo as is, if anyone leaves South Africa, one can only liquidate pension provident funds, preservation and retirement annuities, and have the cash proceeds thereof transferred offshore by undergoing the financial emigration process. By repealing and doing away with the financial emigration process, no South African living in South Africa or abroad, whether you have relinquished South African citizenship or not, will be allowed to access their private retirement savings until the age of 65. The age that this old fart has just hit. Okay, but that's totally irrelevant to the story. This means the retirement and investment savings of all South Africans, those living abroad and those at home, even those who have gone for 10, 20 and 30 years, even those who have relinquished South African citizenship, will be trapped in South Africa and in the hands of the ANC government. Basically, the South African government is going to expropriate the private retirement and investment portfolios of South African citizens. And of course, that's just another area they can steal from. The law they are proposing to pass through the Parliament to do this is called the Prescription of Private Assets. Remember that name, the Prescription of Private Assets. A white paper was posted on National Treasury's website 3 months ago in this regard. Besides not being able to liquidate retirement savings and investments, it means South Africans will battle and struggle as they are tied to South Africa for tax purposes. And if you're abroad and not submitting your South African tax returns, if you still own South African investments, stocks or share portfolios, properties or a business, the government will simply attach your assets. Please note that financial immigration will only be phased out by the 28th of February 2021. This does not affect you or any of my current clients already in the process. We had long, frank discussions on Friday that went into the evening. This is why the South African Reserve Services deliberately slowed down the issuing of tax clearance certificates for emigration purposes towards the end of last year. It was done on purpose. 1. South Africans living abroad will flock for the financial immigration process before it is phased out on the 28th of February 2021. There will be a panic rush and an influx of applications. 2. Unfortunately, firms who climbed on the financial immigration bandwagon and opened up especially just to render financial immigration services will climb on the bandwagon of panic and uncertainty, as there will be a huge demand for financial immigration services. These firms will take advantage and hike their fees. We expect some of these firms to charge up to 100,000 Rand per person to handle the financial immigration process and get their investments and assets out of the country for them before the 28th of February next year. 2. Firms like FinGlobal, Rand Rescue and people like John T. Leon of Tax Consulting will close their doors. They will be out of business once financial immigration is gone and consigned to the ash heap of history. My free advice: if you have any friends or relative anywhere on the planet Earth who has retirement savings or assets in South Africa, contact them and tell them to financially emigrate and to get their investments, savings and assets out of South Africa as soon as possible. Now you heard that here first on Loving Life. Please remember to subscribe to be kept informed. Ring the bell for the updates. Please like this video. Please share this video. And above all, please stay safe.